Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pro Wrestling Throwdown. It's the August 8th, 2020 edition. As always, I am Caleb Black. Your other host, Luke the Big Dog Williams, and our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury, has clocked into work for the second time in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, put it on your calendars. Guys, it is Saturday. We have been watching wrestling all day long. Luke, how are we feeling this Saturday?
Like I don't want to watch wrestling again until next Saturday.
Right, till next Saturday. We got to wait the whole week.
Yeah.
How about you, Max? How we doing?
I am so sick of wrestling.
Well, that's all right, because we are finally through and it's time to get to work. It's time to get to the news this week. Not a whole lot of ground to cover, but we do have a couple of big points. Number one, the WWE is looking to return to having audience in the crowd, in the stands, pre-SummerSlam, and have chosen a venue out of the country for New Zealand to be the hopeful destination for SummerSlam. What do we think about the WWE re-expanding, reopening to the world in New Zealand for SummerSlam?
I think that with the matchups that they've got, that they're talking about right at the moment, I think that that's great. Honestly, I think that's what the big show, the big fight feel needs.
Yeah.
With the Dominic gimmick and Orton and McIntyre and stuff like that, it needs a crowd. It needs that boost.
Yeah.
So I really don't have a problem with it.
My only concern is, like, with how many WWE employees have tested for COVID positively in the recent year.
That they're going to infect New Zealand?
Yeah, that they're just going to go to New Zealand and make them sick as shit. But hey, I am hopeful that we get to see a returning crowd. It'll be great to watch wrestling again with a live audience,
Yes.
a real live audience.
Yes.
Not just Performance Center guys or roster members, a real full live audience of hungry wrestling fans who have been waiting to see something live.
And when was the last time that WWE has done anything outside of the United States to that level?
It's been a really long time
SummerSlam 92?
I sort of say, since they've had a mainstream pay-per-view anyway overseas. So definitely looking forward
Especially
to it.
one of the big four.
Something else to look forward to. Don't know if this is going to be legit or not. Daniel Bryan lays out a challenge to The Rock. And The Rock accepts via a video that he posted. Again, don't know if that's actually going to come to fruition. But man, what a great matchup to think about.
Take my money. Take my money.
Yeah.
I would pay for the $60 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If that was to take
Yeah,
place.
and I am definitely like, we got Rock and Punk at the Rumble.
Yes.
Why not give us Rock and Bryan? The Rock, anytime he comes around, it means pay-per-view buys, it means revenue, it means money, it means people are watching. What a great match, too. What a great guy for him to wrestle, as far as styles, as far as ability, athleticism. Genius. Genius.
You take The Rock, who was basically built by the fans.
Yeah.
Then you take Daniel Bryan, who was also built by the fans.
And then you take our money.
You got People's Champ versus People's Champ,
Yeah.
Rock puts
and
Bryan over.
The only way that could be any better was if DDP was the special guest ref. All three People's Champion in the same spot.
Well, what about Raven?
What about Raven? Who's better than Canyon?
Nobody.
Speaking of people that aren't better than Canyon, good segue, right?
Johnny Swinger?
We'll get to him in a little while. Kylie Ray and Jim Cornette have a bit of a Twitter back and forth. We've seen a lot of Twitter beefs these last couple of months. We had Orton and the entire NXT roster. We had AJ Styles leg slap. No, don't even watch for the NXT video because I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. It's coming up in a little bit. Promise it's worth it. Kylie Ray, I don't remember the full contents of the tweet, but essentially Jim responds with the always, who are you? I've drawn more money in the business, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
It's never a safe bet to enter in a verbal dispute with Jim Cornette. I don't care who you are. Cornette's, first of all, has a rabid fan base. I'm one of them. I belong to the cult of Cornette. They're all crazy.
Yeah.
And Cornette is just so verbally gifted that he will eviscerate you, and I don't know that Kylie Ray is prepared for that level of scrutiny.
What people don't understand that try to get in these verbal jousting matches with Jim Cornette is that he is probably one of the top four heel manager talker guys that there is. His job in the 80s and early 90s was to tear people down. That's what he did.
In a jousting match with Jim Cornette is like a verbal jousting match with Jim Cornette is a legitimate jousting match against, Ulrich von Liechtenstein, better known as William Thatcher.
Bobby Heenan.
That's a Knight's Tale reference. Watch that movie. It's a classic.
I mean, that's like trying to That's like trying to match wits with Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It doesn't make
sense.
sense.
You're unprepared for that battle.
You are going to lose.
And last but not least, WWE interested in returning to an edgier, more aggressive TV format. Now, obviously, we live in an era where certain things on television just aren't going to be received the way they were in the 90s. Taboo, overdone. But it is interesting that when they need a ratings hike, they've decided to implement some new stuff. We'll get to more of that on the Raw review. But I am interested in seeing the WWE take a turn and be maybe not TV 14 again, but definitely a little edgier, a little more hard hitting, and a little bit more believable.
Right.
You can't be in a blood feud with a guy and be like, I'm gonna kick your butt. Like, no.
You wait till Sunday.
Right. Yeah. You just wait. You wait till then.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to have extreme rules for me, but you don't get any.
You don't get no extreme rules for you, Drew McIntyre.
Stop it.
You've had yours. That's Dolph Ziggler's extreme rules. Sorry.
Nerf herder. That's our word.
Scruffy looking nerf herder. Guys, that's pretty much all we got in the news this week. Like I said, not a super busy week. Let us know if we missed anything in the comments down below, or by sending us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/prowrestlingthrowdown. Don't forget to send us submissions, requests, something you want to hear us review, something you want to see us review. We're all about that stuff, and we need the fan interaction. And please, 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 as always, subscribe. Once we hit 100 subscribers, I've got a special treat in mind. I'm not going to tell you until we get a little bit closer, but believe you me, it's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you subscribe to help us get there. Stay tuned, guys, because it's time to start talking about... We're not talking about wrestling! Stay tuned, because it's time to start talking about This Week in Wrestling with Monday Night Raw coming up right after this.